back to my channel. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I am Nurse Netta, and on this channel I talk about everything nurse related: health, lifestyle, vlogs, everything, honey. I'm bringing everything to you real, okay? Nothing is sugar coated. I'm not trying to sell you no fantasy about how the medical field is and how it's all peaches and cream. No, I'm giving you the real tea. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys 5 tips for new nurses. So tip number 1 is to ask questions. It is so important that you ask as many questions as you feel you need to when you're a new nurse. A lot of things that you were taught in nursing school is not quite the same once you get into the field or the real world, as my teacher liked to say when I was in nursing school. And to be honest with you, nursing school teaches you the essentials and the things you need to know to pass the NCLEX to get your license. But when it comes to actually working in the medical field, it doesn't really prepare you to work. So I would say ask questions, get a mentor, get someone who you can shadow, someone who is very supportive. And trust me, no question is a dumb question. I've trained a lot of new nurses who say, oh, I don't know why I even asked that question. That was such a stupid question. Trust me, no question is stupid, especially when it comes to the safety of your patients, okay? So tip number 2 is time management. You want to make sure you manage your time well in your shifts. As new nurses, you know, it's kind of hard to find a rhythm and a set routine, but once you get everything down pat and you get used to, you know, your duties as a nurse, it'll get easier. It is so important to manage your time well, because if you do not have good time management skills, your shift will literally go to shit. From 0 to 60 real quick. No, or is it 0 to 100 real quick? Anyway, you want to make sure you prioritize your work. You want to make sure you are managing your time well. Okay, tip number 2. Tip number 3, don't add your coworkers on social media. That is all the way out, honey. I had to learn that the hard way on 2 separate occasions at 2 different facilities with 2 different set of coworkers. Don't add coworkers on social media. Add them when you already leave the job and move on. In my opinion, it is not a good idea to add your coworkers to your social media. Keep your private life separate from your business life, because if they intertwine sometimes, it could be all bad. I'll share a quick little story about my experience when I had coworkers as friends on Facebook. So this was, I want to say, back in 2013. So I called off of work on a Saturday because my car would not start and I had no way to get to work. So I called off that Saturday. On Monday, I get a call from my director of nursing calling me into the office. And I'm like, okay. So I go in there and she's like, oh, Lynetta, I'm so disappointed in you. You called off on Saturday. And she pulls out her phone and she's like, but I see you were out on Saturday. And I'm like, I wasn't out on Saturday. I was at home. And she's like, well, according to your Facebook, you were out at a club and you were partying. And I'm thinking in my head, I was at home. So I look at the Facebook, and my friend that I went out with the weekend prior to me calling off, she had uploaded the pictures and tagged me in the post. So it looked like I was out, but really she tagged me in the pictures she uploaded. So it was just a bad look, and it made it look like I was out when I really was at home. And she tries to write me up for it, sis. I wasn't going for it. So because I would not sign the write-up, she was like, oh, well, I've been noticing a trend that you've been calling off every weekend, and it seems to be only on a Friday or Saturday. Mind you, I did call off a few times because, like I said, I was having car trouble, but she noticed a trend and decided to write me up for excessive call-offs. It is what it is. So I went to work that night because I work night shift, and my coworkers was like, "Oh yeah, I heard you called off, but you were at the club, and so and so was showing your Facebook to everybody, like, look, she called off, but look, she's out." And so just don't add your coworkers to your social media. Even if you're not doing anything wrong, it could become a problem. Just separate your personal and your business life, please, for the love of God. Just don't do it. Okay, so tip number 4 would be to remain professional at all times. There are going to be times where you're going to be tested as a nurse. And when I say tested, I mean you're going to be disrespected, blatantly disrespected, either by a doctor, a fellow nurse, a patient, a family member, a CNA. You know, you're going to be tested. I've been tested plenty of times, and there's times where unfortunately I lost my cool and all that professionalism went out the window, and I forgot I had on scrubs and a work badge, and I forgot I was in a healthcare setting, and I went off. But we're human and it happens, but you want to make sure you remain professional at all times, because it is not a good look to have a reputation as the mean nurse or the bitch, or, you know, the black nurse that has the attitude problem, because, you know, they love to give us that title. But no, seriously, it's important to remain professional. If you encounter a problem with a coworker, pull them to the side, one-on-one. Do it one-on-one. Don't do it at the nurse's station like I did in front of everybody. Don't cuss nobody out at the nurse's station, you guys, or in the hallways. Don't do it. I'm not proud of that, but I learned my lesson. Okay. Yeah, just talk to that person one-on-one. Let them know that, you know, you felt disrespected, or, you know, you feel a certain way, and just talk it out. I've gotten into it with a CNA before. She had disrespected me like no one had ever disrespected me before, and I lost my shit, you guys. Like, I forgot that I was at work for a second. I'll give you a quick little story. My patient had fallen. I work night shift, and it was the beginning of the shift. Anyone who works night shift knows that you have your first and second med pass. The first med pass is usually 12 a.m. So I was preparing to pass my 12 a.m. meds. I asked that CNA, was the patient in bed? She said yes. I put her to bed. Next thing I know, patient's on the floor. I go in to investigate and assess the scene, and the patient's wheelchair is right next to, like, the foot of her bed, tipped over, and she's on the floor. And I asked the CNA, well, what happened? Come to find out, the CNA never put her to bed. She left her alone in the wheelchair, knowing she's a high fall risk, and knowing she's confused in that she does have behaviors of trying to get up out of her wheelchair by herself. And she left her in a room by herself to go change the patient in the next room. Instead of wheeling the patient to me, I would have watched her. I would have stopped passing my meds and watched her, but she didn't do that. So she lied to me. I had to do an incident report. I have to do an investigation. I have to get statements. So I pretty much told the CNA that she was in trouble for lying to me and for neglecting the patient. And she's like, well, you're the charge nurse. You was supposed to be watching her charge nurse. Like, she was being real sarcastic. And I can't remember what specifically she said, but she said something so disrespectful. And I'm at the nurse's station filling out my report, and something in me just snapped. And I slammed my fist on the desk, and I stood up, and I, like, pushed my chair from behind me, and I said, who the fuck you think you talking to? Who the fuck you think you talking
to? Who he talking to like that? Talking to your ass. The fuck you think you talking to like that?
I really, like, completely lost it and blacked out. And then the CNAs were like, Lynetta, and I was like, oh shit, like, I fucked up. The RN was coming down the hallway. She heard the commotion, and she pulled me to the side, and she was like, I understand you're upset, but you cannot conduct yourself in that manner. And I was like, I'm sorry, but she pissed me off. And then I cussed out about 2 or 3 different LVNs. I've had to tell my supervisor about herself on one occasion. So it happens. We're human, but you have to do it in a professional manner, okay? Don't cuss people out at the nurse's station, and don't ask them who the fuck they're talking to. Like, just don't be like me, okay? Learn from this.
Learn something from this!
And last, but certainly not least, tip number 5 would be to not give up. I know this may sound cliche, but do not give up. I'm going to tell you firsthand, as a new nurse, you are going to cry at least one time at work. You're going to cry. You're going to cry. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be upset. You're going to feel like quitting. You're going to question, why did I become a nurse? You're going to feel defeated. I am not going to sugarcoat it and make it seem like nursing is beautiful and it's so rewarding and it's always, all the time, you know, happy-go-lucky. It is not like that. A lot of times I go into work and I literally have to pray and meditate and mentally prepare myself for those 8 hours. You're going to cry. I've cried several times at work. There's times where I was literally in the middle of a med pass and I had to stop, lock my cart, go to the bathroom and cry for literally like 5 minutes and regroup. It's gonna happen. There's no way around it. But do not give up. Push through. Stay strong. Know that you are doing this for a reason and you have a purpose. Never, okay, never let a coworker, a doctor, a supervisor, a CNA, a family member, or an asshole patient, because you're going to get those, never let them get to you, okay? A lot of times your coworkers might be going through stuff at home that affects them in the work environment. Not saying that it's right. Give some people the benefit of the doubt. Don't take it personal. You're going to have people yell at you. Doctors are going to hang up in your face. Doctors are going to curse you out. I work night shifts. I have to notify doctors sometimes if there's a change of condition or if I have to send a patient out to the hospital for an emergency. They get mad when I call them at 1, 2, and 3 o'clock in the morning. This is what you signed up for. You are a physician. You know this is going to happen sometimes. I'm doing my job. Oh well. You're going to come across family members who wants to complain about any and everything. There are going to be times where you feel like you're giving your all in a shift, like literally neglecting yourself to give to these patients, and you're going to come across a patient who is unappreciative. You're going to come across a patient that no matter what you do, it's never enough. You're going to come across family members who, no matter what you do for their loved one, it's never enough. You're going to get defeated. You're going to get tired. And when I say tired, I don't mean physically tired. You're going to be mentally tired and emotionally tired. It's going to happen, but stay strong. Do not give up. If I would have gave up the first few times I felt defeated, I would not be here today. I wouldn't. So don't let anyone make you quit. Don't quit. So those were my 5. I have so much more, but those were my top 5 nursing tips for new nurses to survive, because we got to stick together. We got to ride for each other, and we got to just, you know, hang in there, guys. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope these tips were beneficial for you. I wish you guys the best of luck on your new nursing career. I wish you guys the best of luck and success. And until my next video, I'll see you later. Bye.